Excited today. Welcome to the EKU RMI Executive Edge interview series. My name is Mike Weglars. I am the Director of Risk Management Assurance at Eastern Kentucky University. We are very enthused to have a distinguished guest today, Mr. Bob Orosz, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Hightower Advisors, with us today. Thank you very much for your time, Bob. We appreciate it. Just kind of introduce you a little bit here and talk a little bit about your background. Bob is currently the chairman and CEO of Hightower Advisors. Under Bob's leadership, Hightower has transformed its business and culture, accelerated acquisitions, expanded services for advisors, and achieved consistently strong organic growth. Now more than $260 billion in assets under management. That's billion with a B in He was recently acknowledged as Chicago Titan 100 CEO and C-level executive in Chicago. Bob is very active in the community, particularly in areas of mental health and financial literacy education. He is the chairman of the board of the Mental Health Association of Greater Chicago, a former board member of the E-Equal, which is providing advocacy and support to students experiencing homelessness, and an active mentor at his alma mater, Central Michigan University, where he received an honorary doctorate and sponsors a student-managed multi-asset investment portfolio, and is also on the board of the College of Business Administration at Central Michigan University. Welcome, Bob. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you did a great job summing it up, and it's great to be here with you, Mike, and also with the EKU community.
I thank you very much. Yeah, you for your time today. You had a lengthy career in finance and financial services. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and your current role as CEO of Hightower Advisors?
Well, my career has certainly been a journey, and I often describe it as sort of an accidental career. Like I never had a clear place I was trying to get to. I was just always drawn to interesting companies and interesting opportunities where I could learn something, where I could add some value, and where I thought we were playing in a segment that was doing really well and growing. And so I spent most of my time in financial services, but I also ran a technology company through Y2K, which will usually sort of separate people. Like if they know what Y2K is,
right?
It's not the latest, greatest band. It was actually that moment in time where we didn't know if computers would work the way they were supposed to.
Right, I remember that.
But what I've always thought of in terms of career is like tools in a toolbox. And this is coming from someone who's not very handy. But I always think of like career experience as tools. And the more tools you can put in your sort of toolbox professionally, it prepares you for opportunities. And so ultimately for me, it gave me an opportunity to become a CEO. This is my second opportunity being a CEO, and it's been a lot of fun, very gratifying to see the company grow really significantly and to see all the change that comes with that. So that's a little bit about how I've navigated.
Yeah, that's $260 billion in assets under management. That is no small potatoes there. How many employees are at Hightower now?
Yeah, almost 2,000 employees.
Wow. Yeah,
so
that's growing.
We've in my 6.5 years here, we've 4x the number of employees, but grown significantly. All of our key metrics, whether it be assets, revenue, earnings, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of growth.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you describe your leadership style then, and how has it evolved from that Y2K scenario you referenced to your current status as CEO of Hightower?
Well, I think when you first become a leader, it gets easy to think style over substance. So you think people need to do things the way you would do it. And if they don't do it the way you would do it, then it makes it wrong. And so I think early in my career, I was much more immature at the discipline of leadership, recognizing it's not my job to get people to do things the way I would do it. It's my role to get them to bring their best thinking, to solve problems in new and different ways that I wouldn't have thought of, and to really bring out the best in them. So I try to exhibit a style of approachability, transparency, engagement. And I don't care what level in the organization you're at. I don't care what your role is, because every role in a company matters. Like, all of us have a role in terms of delivering the kind of experience we want to deliver to our clients. So I've really tried to mature my leadership to be, that of more of a coach and a supporter than being a task manager or telling people how they should do things.
It seems like culture is very important to you, and developing that culture, not only with your employees, but within your organization. I guess what differentiates Hightower from your competition? And then what is your unique value proposition that maybe you go to market with as an organization?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with that question. So, our unique value proposition, we're a large registered investment advisory firm. We think of ourselves as a wealth manager. And we think of wealth as being wealth, WELL-TH. And you may be thinking as an educator, wow, you can't spell. No, we can spell, but we actually think real wealth to people is more than just their portfolio. It's more than just the assets. If you ask someone like what's really matters to them, most of the time you get answers that are like family and health and retiring at a certain age, or putting my kids through school, or paying for a daughter's wedding. So we've tried to broaden the definition of wealth to encompass a lot of different things, which is part of our differentiation. We're not just simply going to focus on how are your investments doing. Like, we really want to know you, your family. We want to know what your goals are, both financial and non-financial, because then we can be really holistic in how we work with you. And so that's been a big part of our focus on growing as a business, is to continue to expand that. So we have a whole wealth and wellness series where we'll talk about things ranging from, providing care to an aging parent to mental health issues. Why? It all, at some point comes back to money. And if it's important to a client, it should be important to us. And we think we can add value in a lot of different ways. So we put a lot of effort around culture. Culture is one of those things it's really kind of nebulous. It's sometimes hard to define, but we've tried to be really purposeful around designing our culture so that there's a set of beliefs that everybody that, wears the Hightower jersey, has. So you can think of it as your North Star. You can think of it as religion. You can think of it as your favorite sports team. It's that thing that brings everybody together and ensures like we're focused on a common set of objectives.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a differentiator, that culture that transfers into the marketplace as well. So then I guess so it's more than just, yes, obviously financial metrics are important. So how would you measure the success of Hightower just beyond the financial metrics? How do you know that you're doing well, per se, other than just financial metrics?
Well, I think, we certainly try to measure things, and, some elements of culture are just hard to measure, but we actively measure engagement. So whether it be our own team members, whether it be our financial advisors, like, we want to know we're driving engagement and satisfaction, because if we're doing a good job there, then that will follow through and show up in the client experience. So that's one way we look at it. And we do it in the softer ways, which is, we want to constantly be collaborating both with our team members and our clients to get that sort of softer feedback, like in every moment, every experience with us. So we really know if we take care of those things, the financial metrics take care of themselves.
That is a good point. Once that culture is built, the house is built, the foundation of the house, that can help you build the pretty house, per se, and then transfers to the marketplace as well. One of the biggest challenges we encounter in the risk management insurance industry is that we're an aging industry. And I heard statistics that we always throw around that 25% of our industry in the risk management insurance industry will be retiring or exiting the industry altogether in the next 5 years. So there's a great need for an influx of talent from in the RMI segment of our space. I guess, what are the biggest challenges that you are facing in the financial services industry today, and how is Hightower Advisors addressing them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's very similar. So we have an aging population of financial advisors. There are more CFPs over the age of 70, I think, than under the age of 30. So it's a very similar dynamic. And I would say that the same is true in the accounting profession. So, like for the kids, there's a huge amount of opportunity because we have these professions where we're going to have a deficit of the talent required. And these are all really, really important functions in our ecosystem. So we're trying to address it in a couple of different ways. One, you need to get people thinking about, this as a profession. So we will meet with high school kids every year. And you might think, wow, that's pretty young. And we're meeting with high school juniors. And we're doing it to educate them about all the different career options within a company like Hightower. And I want to educate them before they go off to college and start thinking they already know what they want to do, so that they can actually think about this as they're making decisions about what school to go to. And if they decide, you know what, like being a CFP and serving clients sounds like a really interesting career, they can choose a school that has a CFP program. And so we're also putting a big, focus as an industry on growing those programs at more and more universities, because we need kids to be thinking about this just like you do in risk management.
Yeah.
You want them to come in thinking about this as a career. And I would say what you do, like in the risk area, also crosses over, because what's part of a good financial plan?
Managing
Asset
risk.
protection,
Yeah.
managing risk. And we do that with insurance. And sometimes estate planning, we do that with insurance because it's very tax efficient if deployed properly.
Right.
So I think it's amazing for kids because there's never been a better time to find really good career options in growing industries. But if we don't solve it, it absolutely becomes a risk to our industry.
Good point.
The other place I think you'll see some evolution here is in how we use technology. And so when you think about things like generative AI, mm-hmm. I will also voice caution, because we act in a fiduciary capacity. We can't let AI give advice.
Right.
If we let AI give advice, we're violating that duty. But we can let AI give us scale. So it can help us prepare for a client meeting. It can help in performing some back office functions. So, we need to figure out how to leverage technology to make advisors more efficient so they can handle more clients and still do a great job. And that also eases a little bit of that pressure on, the deficiency in number of people we have.
Yeah. And that, I'm glad you said that. You're trickling down to the high schools to get them interested in financial services, advising, CFP as a career avenue. And that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. The smart organizations, the traditional model has been, let's seek internships between junior and senior year in college. And I feel, and what I've seen is that it's too late at that time. And the smart companies are starting to engage freshmen and sophomores in college. And I can see the next step in our evolution of recruitment is getting into the high schools as well as a career avenue too. And as you mentioned, in financial services within RMI, there's so many different segments that they can pursue. It's amazing.
And they just don't know. They just don't know what's available to them. Or if they know, they've heard some generalization.
Right.
And I'll give you a real story. The first class, first time we had a group of high school juniors come through, one of the individuals came up to me afterwards and she said, when they told us we were going to be coming to a financial services firm, I thought it was going to be really boring, but you guys are really interesting and I would love to work here.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, send me your resume. Link into me.
Yeah.
She went ahead and did it. She became our first high school intern.
Nice.
And I will say, other than the fact you learn hiring a minor has a different set of things you have to manage.
Right.
But put that aside, she was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, her critical thinking, her writing skills, she helped us think about social media in a different way. So even somebody in their junior year of high school has real value to bring. And we've now opened up her thinking to a bunch of different career options.
Right.
And I agree with you. We are, for our own internship programs, are trying to hire kids no later than sophomore year, because if we really like them, we'll keep them on.
Yeah.
We'll keep them on as perpetual interns during the school year, remote, making a little bit of money, and then bring them back a second year. And if we bring them back a second summer, it's almost always leading to a job offer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like I said, that's where the smart companies are and maybe we're getting off track a little bit in our conversation, but it's like they let the student continue to be engaged with you, and they're working part-time remotely or whatever, getting paid. And I think the student benefits from that, getting experience and getting paid. And the company benefits by keeping that student and good talent engaged too as a potential employee in the future.
Yep, it's a win. It's a win-win. And guess
Yeah.
what? Kids are coming in more ready
Yeah.
than I've ever seen. They are well prepared to add value even that early in their college career.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. And you kind of touched on my last question here on technology and how AI and blockchain is impacting your business. You kind of talked about, the fiduciary capabilities there. You guys still need to adhere to that. But, any opportunities or threats that you see with this this wave of AI and blockchain coming our way, or that's here?
Yeah. I mean, I think threats can be many depending on how you look at it. Like, hey, any technology, it all comes down to how we choose to use it. Are we using it for good, or are we using it for something else? So I think as long as we're making good choices on how to use it, where to use it, I think it's a lot more opportunity than threat. And it's here. It's no different than, for those of us old enough to remember the world before the internet.
Yeah.
Like there was a time we didn't have the internet. We didn't have iPhones. We didn't have all this technology, but we figured out how the technology like enables things and how it makes lives better. So, I think you have to do the same thing here. You got to lean into it. If you resist it, you'll become obsolete. And that's whether you're a student or whether you're a business, like we all have to like embrace what's shaping the world. So I think it's good opportunity to actually let people do higher level jobs, do jobs that have more value. And we're big believers in financial services and wealth management. People matter a lot. Like there are a lot of things you can let a technology do for you. But when it comes down to like a really big life decision, I don't know about you, but I want to see somebody. I want to see your eyes. I want to feel that emotional connection, not just the analytics behind it. So we're a big believer it's an and, not an or. And in the winning organizations will figure out how to optimize across the spectrum of when you leverage tech, when you leverage people. Then you're leveraging people for highest and best use.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, all industries, including higher ed as well, has to figure out how to use this and then maintain the people component as well. And the people touch, the relationships matter, especially in financial services and then risk management, insurance, those type of things. That personal engagement is utmost important. So, Bob, I can't thank you very much for your time for our Executive Edge series here at the EKU RMI program. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well as much as I did. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And appreciate you having me on.